What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals. My name is DJ, and we're your first line of defense against stupid movies. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, my sister, Daisy, my brother,
Derek. What's up, everybody?
And our friend, Dan.
Dan.
You took too long to say your name.
I was about to say my,
Oh, your government name?
Yeah, my government.
We've renamed you. It's okay. All right, guys. This week we are talking about Contagion. So a lot of people have been watching this movie lately for some reason. I have no idea why, but been watching it.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, not like anything has been going on.
Yeah, nothing to do with anything. But whatever.
Yeah, but 2011's Contagion. So we decided to check the movie out again. It's actually the first time I've seen it, and we'll give our thoughts on it. Is it any good? So, first, what did you guys think in general?
I thought it was a good movie. This is my second time seeing it, and I don't know, it was good. Like, the first time I saw it, I was just like, oh, wow, that's how diseases start. And then, like, watching it now is just like, oh, they were right. That is how diseases start.
Yeah. Derek, what about
you?
you?
I thought it was cool, man. This was my first time. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead, Dan. Go right ahead, Dan.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm speaking, I'm forced to speak too.
No, I was just trying to, give us some order. So, guys, if I don't know, you're probably going to notice a little bit things different on the audio, but since the current COVID-19 has put us all in our homes, we are all recording this in a separate area. So everyone's at home and recording this offline, so it's a bit different. You can't see someone
quarantine
talking. Yeah. So yeah, my bad, Dan. I was just trying to make sure we didn't talk over each other. But go ahead.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. You know what I'm saying? It's my first time seeing it. Seeing how the disease spread, comparing it basically to what's going on today. It makes me uncomfortable, yeah. I know it was Hollywood, they had to exaggerate a lot of things, but it's a good watch though. I think people should check it out. You can learn some things from it.
Yeah, there's some interesting similarities between the movie and now. Just some interesting similarities, and you kind of go, oh, But
yeah.
All right, Derek, what did you think?
I thought it was a good movie. Like Daisy, this was my second time seeing the movie, and I think it's very relatable. I feel it was very relatable. Yeah, some of the things were over exaggerated, but the overall premise of the movie, I think it stayed true to where it could be very believable.
Yeah, it's interesting. We watched a doctor review this movie too on YouTube, and he pointed out that it was pretty accurate. And I think the director kind of made sure it was as accurate as possible. Daisy, I think you said he reached out to some professionals or something like that.
And some of the movie notes I looked up is that Steven Soderbergh and the writer Scott Burns, I believe his name is, that they actually talked to a lot of doctors and scientists and consulted with, I'm going to mispronounce this,
epidemiologists.
Yes, that word. To figure out, if an outbreak occurred, how would it happen? And so they really did talk to a lot of doctors and scientists, so it can be as accurate as possible. And like you said, a lot of doctors agree that the movie is fairly accurate. And I think Derek and Dan mentioned that, that they took some liberties with things. And the only thing that's really I would say that Hollywood took liberties with is how fast everything happened.
Yeah. They cured the disease in a few months, which apparently can't happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, they cured the disease in a few months, and the virus is way too contagious and killed way too fast.
Yeah, not to say that can't happen, though. right?
But it is unlikely for that type of virus.
Yeah. Well, I think it's unlikely just because I know we talked about Plague Incorporated, right, before on this channel. I don't know if we have. Maybe we have. The game where you play it as a disease and try to wipe out the planets.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
hosting
I don't think we mentioned that.
Oh, okay. There was a game where you play as a disease and you try to wipe out the entire planet. It's fun. You should play it.
Yeah.
But on that game, the thing is, like, if you're any type of pathogen and you are both contagious and deadly, then you don't get the opportunity to spread because sometimes you can kill people too fast. So, with that being said, I think that's why a lot of times you don't run into viruses that are both extremely infectious and deadly. I just thought while we're talking about this, we're not experts, so anyone listening to this,
Right.
consult the CDC or the World Health Organization before you take any advice.
Yes, all of our knowledge has come from the internet
Yeah.
and 2 years of science class.
Yes. For people
I
who have
failed all
taken
my
2 years of
classes,
science
so
class.
Don't trust me.
Well, don't get no advice from Dan.
Yeah, I know. I do not know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so but like the likelihood of getting a disease like that is low because they kind of counteract each other, you know, being deadly and contagious. Unless it's contagious after you die, then you might have something.
Yeah, if that corpse is contagious, and yeah, that could do it. Got it.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's that. But Daisy, you usually have some topics that you want us to go over about the movie?
I do. I feel like this movie had a couple of moral stories. One is don't cheat on your husband.
Oh,
Gwyneth Paltrow's character.
Gwyneth Paltrow's character.
I mean, so she was patient zero and started all of this and spread it across the world because she couldn't just go home like she was supposed to. Go hook up with some dude in Chicago. And I'm like, I really felt bad for Matt Damon. And he was just like, your wife is dead. And oh, by the by, she was cheating on you.
Yeah,
It was
because
just like,
somehow
oh,
it
that's
got
so
to
bad.
Chicago and she was in a layover. How did that happen? Oh,
5 hours.
5 hour layover.
Yeah, 5 hour layover. Yeah.
Oh, man.
you've been real extra if you got to set a layover somewhere and you give
Yeah.
yourself a 5 hour window just so you can get a little booty call
Get a
Like-
little protein
Yeah.
in your diet.
in another state. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
Like,
Yeah,
jeez.
she put a lot of work into that booty call. And
She could have
Yep.
called somebody before she went. All right, but
Because she already spread it all across China.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, all she did, like, first of all, okay, she over there talking about some. Oh, it's just jet lag. This woman was like sweating profusely.
Yeah.
Like it was like she looked disgusting, and she's just sticking her hand in peanuts and stuff and blowing on
Yeah.
people's dice and whatever, like just spreading it
The
everywhere.
poker chips.
yeah, and you know, that's what I like about this movie is that they kind of focused on, which makes me like never touch anything ever, is every time someone touched something, it kind of like paused there for you to like, this is how you get it. So every time she drank out of a glass, touched the peanuts, touched her cell phone, hugged her son, someone picks up her, it kind of just like sits there and says, this is how diseases are spread.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As well, you know, when the guy on the subway, you know, he touched the handlebar, you know, he touched the elevator door, he gets in the elevator and you're just like, oh, all those people are dead.
Yeah, because you're enclosed and you're just breathing the same air. So it's just everybody on there. Just,
Yeah.
I want to say after watching this movie, I went to the grocery store today, and so I brought my Lysol with me to spray down the cart.
Spray the people. You spray the people that you walk by.
What, just spray everybody?
Hey, how's it going today? So,
There was this video on YouTube before they closed all the schools, and like this dad is picking his son up. Now the son's like 15, 16 years old, and he like gets out the car with a spray bottle and like spraying his kid down before the kid gets into the car.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't go to that extreme. It's just the giant eagle I'm going to doesn't have like the hand wipes. The last few times I went there, they didn't have the wipes to wipe the handle of the cart. So I'm like,
Oh, they ran out.
They just, I don't even know where the stand is for it. It's just gone. People probably just stole it and took it home.
Oh, the stand.
Probably.
I believe that. I believe that.
So
You went to the one up the street?
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
What?
Like when you walk in and you turn left, they're usually right there.
Yeah, it was empty the last few times I went.
Oh, okay.
People probably was still him. They probably did take the thing and run off with it.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, y'all ain't got no more lights all the white. I'm taking yours.
So, I mean, I was just like, man, I feel like somebody like used the cart before me and they got corona. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna spray.
You ain't
this
got no little vinyl nitrile gloves or nothing?
thing. No, not really. I mean, okay, I just didn't feel like walking around with some gloves.
I'm wearing gloves when I go to the grocery store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them, man. I'm a mechanic. I got like a couple boxes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wear them everywhere. Burn them after I'm done.
I don't think you're supposed to burn that.
It's plastic, dude.
I
don't really burn them, just saying.
You're not supposed to burn plastic.
All right. But it's interesting. That reminds me of the grocery store scene in this movie. And what made me really mad, like Matt Damon's there. He turns the corner and this lady just coughs in his face. Just, just all in his face, dude. So disgusting.
Yeah. I'm like,
He was like, put everything down, throw your gloves away. Here's some hand sanitizer.
He like smacked the box of Pop-Tarts out the girl's hand. I'm like, dang, she can't keep the Pop-Tarts?
He was not playing.
Yeah. So, what other things did you have, Daisy?
What other things did I? The importance of hygiene. I mean, a lot of times in the movie they were talking about, don't touch your face, wash your hands for 20 seconds, and all this stuff, and it was just like, oh my gosh, how important is that?
Mm-hmm.
And yet we still don't do it.
Most of the time, it can stop you from spreading the virus to yourself. So,
right. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or bacteria,
Yeah.
I wish I would have wrote this down, but they gave a number, or at least Google it on how often.
She said something like 2,000 times a day or something, which is ridiculous. I'm not sure how accurate that was.
That was ridiculous. I was like, I'm pretty sure I don't.
I think she was like, in 1 minute you touch your face 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I definitely haven't.
Yeah, per minute. Yeah.
Now, I do have a hard time now not touching my face, and I gotta keep going. Oh, I'm not supposed to touch my face.
Well,
How many
like,
times do you touch your face and you don't even realize that you just touched your face? Like, you literally count.
That's the thing too. Yeah, you got to count for the times of where you do it when you don't realize it.
Which is why you wash your hands.
Like subconsciously.
Which is why I always said, every time, for whatever dumb reason, people made an argument that they didn't need to wash their hands when they used the bathroom. I was like, even if somehow you managed to use the bathroom without touching anything, you still touched a lot of stuff throughout the day, and now you are near a sink. It's a good excuse to wash your hands. Even if you're going to manage to say you didn't, which you did, because I don't care how you do it, you got something on your hands. So, wash your hands. Even if you didn't, you still want to clean your hands of what you've been touching throughout the day. So,
my thing is, soon as you walk into a bathroom, why would you not want to wash your hands? It's a bathroom.
Yeah,
just the things that goes on in the bathroom alone. Be like, yep, I gotta wash my hands when I get out of here.
Yeah. So people,
like if you just so happen to have been so clean throughout the day that you didn't touch anything dirty, when you walk into that bathroom, all that's out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care how clean you think you are, or how some dudes be like, man, my junk is clean. I'm like,
I don't know who says that. Like, no,
I
it's
don't
not.
I don't know.
That's
I
not
don't
true.
know. That is like the
People
most
I work
dumbest
with, man.
reasoning.
Terrible.
This is the
God.
most dumbest reason. I just be like, really?
Unless you just got out the shower, it's not clean. And then 5 minutes after you're done, it's not clean again.
Right.
So yeah. So be clean, people. That's one thing that you can take from us, and believe it. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.
hands.
Be clean. All right. What else about that, Daisy?
You know what? I should have started off with this, and I didn't. I don't know why I went out of order on my list, but I mean, just how we suddenly had a desire to watch this movie. A renewed interest has been in this Contagion movie. It is number 3 in iTunes. It's number 2 off of Warner Brothers for the most popular movie. A movie before that no one was thinking about. I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, that was good, but I had no desire to see it again until all of this virus thing starts happening. So a lot of people are rewatching this movie, understandably.
Yes.
And the other thing, the producer was saying that one of the things that he got from the doctors while doing research for this movie was that they were saying that a massive virus outbreak is inevitable for the future. So they said it was definitely going to happen again.
Of course, it's always going to happen, which is why you need like things in place, you know, like pandemic response teams and CDC staff.
I mean, yeah, because you look at how this one happened. What is it? The bat ate a banana, flew around some pigs, ate that. You can't throw that.
Yeah.
Like there ain't no human can do about that. So.
No, and that's usually how it happens, where it spreads from animal to humans. And they were saying that this movie was meant to be a cautionary film about being prepared, which obviously we are never prepared.
Nope. I feel like a lot of countries could have been more prepared. Some countries were more prepared, and they definitely handled things quicker. Other countries not. We won't mention any countries, but
right. Yeah. I think you just like how the movie predicted, you got people like, oh, it's like, you know, when Kate Winslet is in the room talking to the CDC people, and the one person that was like, well, I mean, is it that serious? And she's breaking it down like the flu infects one person, you know, measles affects, you know, however many people. And they're like, this 18. One, we're not even sure yet, but it's serious. And they're like, but is it though? And I think we did a lot of that. You hear about things and they're like, well, what if it's not that bad?
Yeah. I'm going to go on a side tangent real quick. Just a small one. When we were watching that doctor's video, he did put the R0, or how infectious the measles are, up there. And basically what you mentioned with the flu, if someone has the flu, you're likely to pass it to one other person. One. And so that means the spread of the flu is really slow, especially since we have vaccines and medicine and things like that to help you with it. The measles, the R0 number that he put up on the screen was 18. That means one person has the measles and they'll pass it to 18 other people. That disease is extremely infectious. Vaccinate your children. Please.
Yeah, there's some people that don't believe in vaccination, that they don't vaccinate their children, and they still be sending them off to school and everything.
Because you know what? Even if it did cause some sort of mental issue, I think it would be better than them dying from the measles. So it doesn't cause any.
Well, the thing is like there's never anything that's 100% foolproof. There isn't anything that's 100% foolproof. There's always going to be a small fraction of some kind of side effects or what have you. Because, I mean, that just happened because our DNA is different. Everybody's DNA is different. So the reaction to these vaccines are not going to be the same reaction to everybody. I mean, just like when people get viruses, like I can get the flu and one of you guys can get the flu from me. But the reaction could be different between the both of us. Yeah, you still gonna have the same general, sore throat, fever, runny nose, but I could have problem breathing with mine.
Yeah.
You could not. You could have muscle ache with your flu. I could not have muscle ache. It's just like you can't have a foolproof thing when it comes to these vaccines with everybody. Yes, someone is going to experience death. Someone is going to have brain damage. But to say, oh well, since it may cause that, let me just skip out on it altogether. Like, then it's not fair to the other people
Who can't.
that can get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like infants.
Yeah.
And I'm about
Or
to have a child.
our older people, people up in age.
So, yeah. And that being said, none of those side effects actually are caused by any of those. So, just keep that in mind, people. 18 people. 18.
So the measles.
Yeah. Now,
And those 18 are going to infect another 18.
is someone going through a drawer or pouring cereal or something? I just,
It's definitely Dan.
It's Dan.
Dan, what are you doing?
My bad. I was making a smoothie.
Making a smoothie.
You were making a smoothie? Just couldn't wait till after we're done.
Oh man. Well, here's the thing though. It's in the blender right now, so I'm about to go back.
You was gonna run the blender?
The blender running now. I ran away from it.
Why did you just get up without your phone?
Oh man.
You could have got up without your phone.
This is what goes on. This is what goes
I'm
on
leaving
in the
this
background of 3D. Yeah,
I'm
leave it
leaving
in.
this in.
This is what goes on in the background of 3D rivals.
Lord. Okay, so
I made it though. It's here now.
So we learned about the I forgot, what did they say the R naught of this fictional disease was, the MVE1?
They say 3 to 4.
That's high. That's kind of high. 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So one person with this passes it to 3 to 4 people. I think the coronavirus is 2 to 2.5.
Yeah.
I thought it was 1 in 5. Is more than that.
Definitely more than 1.
It's more than 1 because it's more infectious than the flu.
2.
Yeah,
it's like 2.
2. So if you think about that, that means if unquarantined, it would just continue to double. Like one person's have it, then 2 people, then 4 people, then 8 people, and that becomes exponential. And we saw the results of that in this movie, actually.
Yeah, that was my other note. So in this movie, the disease had about a 20 to 25% mortality rate, which is high. Mm-hmm. In like the span of 4 months this movie took place over, 26 million people died.
That's
That's incredibly high for such a short period of time.
Yeah. 26 million people. That will ruin some economies.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Which, I mean, looking at the movie, it looked like no one was doing anything. Like there was no trash pickup. The mall was completely abandoned. So it turned pretty quick.
I feel like that escalated a bit. I mean, maybe because in the movie the disease was more deadly. Because now we do see the same panic nowadays with everyone panic buying and buying more than they need to. And hoarding different items. But
they don't need to.
In the movie, it went a step further. Like, people were looting. They were just stealing everything. And
that scene where the Forsythia, which, by the way, I wanted to wait before we talked about Jude Law's character, but his character was promoting this home remedy that will cure the disease. He says, I had it, I took it, and I'm better. So everyone's running out to get this. And then they start looting and hoarding when, it's like, oh, we only have 50 left. Then it just creates this mass panic trying to get this thing that supposedly helps cure the disease.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Ultimately, there was no proof that it did.
It didn't. It was a lie. He never even had it.
He never had it.
Yeah. It highlights the importance of only listening to the professional people. So the health organization of whatever state you're in, the CDC and the World Health Organization, that is who you should be getting your information from. No one else. If you hear something on the news, check the CDC to see its accuracy. Just because, the misinformation is dangerous. We saw it in this movie. And people in a panic can be very dangerous.
Yeah, well, what I like about this, the tagline for the movie is nothing spreads like fear, which is very true, which is what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. And then also Lawrence Fishburne's character, when they were doing the interview with Jude Law's character, he says that what is spreading, he said, what you are doing, these rumors and false lies you are spreading is more dangerous than the disease.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is true. And then, Jude Law comes to court, but he made $4.5 million off of, this, his blog just spouting nonsense.
Yeah.
And he got rich off of it. And it's crazy because what we get now, some guy, I forgot what his name was saying that some toothpaste would help protect you against COVID. No, it doesn't. So stop.
People were like, oh, to take some bleach, which don't do. Bleach will kill you immediately. Don't.
What, just because it sanitizes surfaces, you think it's going to sanitize your insides? It'll kill your insides.
Yeah, I'm like, it'll sanitize your insides. And you know what? You won't get coronavirus because you'll be dead. So, there you go. But, just wait until they come up with a vaccine for it. There's very smart people. You saw it in the movie. The accuracy of it. Now, I think a few times in the movie, it would be there would be one person where in real life you probably have a team, but obviously that wouldn't work in the movie that well.
The movie already had 800 people in it. And they're all famous for some reason.
And I was like, they were all like A-list actors too. I'm like, oh, man.
A bunch of them. I'm like, what was the budget for this movie?
Right.
Yeah. To show you guys the number of spread when you're not quarantining, Italy, basically it's 978 cases to every 1 million people. And then in the United States, it's 98 cases to 1 million people.
I'm going to put an asterisk on the United States.
Yeah, because it's still counting.
Well, we don't. We're not testing.
Everyone doesn't, every state doesn't have the means to test everyone.
So it's higher here. We just don't know who has it.
Right.
So
there could be people who have died from it, and we don't know that they died from it.
Yeah. Italy actually acted quickly. I think part of the issue with Italy was they have a much older population, for one. Which affects the death rates and stuff from corona, and it happened there earlier on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was before.
Yeah, it was around the time of China. It was around the time of China had it. Yeah. So
it's a bit before everyone had time to react. So I feel like it spread around without them knowing beforehand. Which again, it shows when you're not quarantined, that's how it spreads. But apparently, they're trying, at least. But yeah. So, any other information you have for us, Daisy?
Just something, just like a tidbit about how this movie was broken up into different stories. You had the story of Kate Winslet's character working for the CDC, trying to cure it, only for herself to end up getting disease and die. Which, by the way, I was kind of disappointed.
I really did not want her to die.
I really thought that this was going to pull out a Hollywood miracle and that they would save her at the last moment.
Like, oh, we've got the vaccine. Here you go. Nope. No, she died.
Well, in the commentary, he said that that was a good scene to show because a lot of our healthcare professionals, like, this is their job, and they are around people who have this contagious disease, and basically they're putting their own life on the line to save other people.
Yeah. You know, it was interesting because with the coronavirus, the whistleblower in China, unfortunately, he passed away. I know there was a doctor in Italy, I believe, and I think a couple of in other places that actually did die trying to fight this disease. So it's definitely realistic. It happens, and it's sad. And, you know, I'm kind of glad they left that in the movie because even though, you know, you got the audience to not want her to die, you know, showing that it happens actually matters, you know. That way you have a new appreciation for these people really working hard when these things pop up.
Yeah, but I was kept hoping that someone would like shoot Jude Law in the head, though. Is what I was hoping for. Like, I mean, like literally everyone that you didn't want to die died, and even at the end of the movie, you know, his internet fans bails him out of jail. Then he's still going around doing the same thing, and I'm like, even at the end, I was like, somebody gonna come out the crowd and like pop a cap in this dude, right?
Well,
because they were talking about charging him for every person that took that drug and still ended up dying or something like that. And then
manslaughter.
Yeah. And then also, what was it? It was, I know it wasn't causing a panic. It wasn't causing a panic, but it was something else.
Inciting a riot because people started rioting when they couldn't get, you know, his magic drug.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, here's the thing, I think the movie played it off like, oh, he's going to get off scot-free. Here's the thing. He is charged with that. And even though people pay to post his bail, he still has to go to trial. And he probably
he still has to go to trial. He wouldn't spend time.
He's probably going to go to jail, but I needed him to die.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it's messed up, and that's the thing. Like, don't spread false information, man. You know, if you're giving helpful information, lead people to the experts. Like, if you heard something from an expert, you can tell them that, but then, like, hey, I found this here at the CDC website. You know, the misinformation is so dangerous, and you read that quote earlier. You know, it's so dangerous. Yeah. All right, so Jude Law's character, we went over him. Guys, so unlikable. Even the one girl, the one news reporter.
Who's basically begging him for help. And she, you know, she's pregnant. She's like, please, just give me some. He's like, I don't have anyone here. Probably because you never had anything. It was probably just water that you were posting online.
He knew he couldn't do nothing for her because he knew it was phony and fake. And that she was going to die anyway.
Instead of that, he should have been telling people just to stay in their homes.
Yeah.
People risking their lives trying to get this thing, and it didn't even work. Even in the end, when he sees her picture, he seems so nonchalant, like, oh, well. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you just killed her. So, I did not like him.
Yeah. Were you going to make mention of Matt Damon's character?
Yes, that was my last thing to mention.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in the movie, Matt Damon is immune to the virus. His wife and stepson got it and basically died on the same day. When he took his wife to the hospital, his son died at the babysitter's house. So they said it is definitely plausible for someone to be immune. They do not know why, but certain people tend to be resistant to certain things.
It's all about your immune system and whether it can fight it off or not. Like Derek mentioned it earlier, everyone is different, right? We get our immune system from our parents, but it develops over our lifetime. And for whatever reason, your immune system can identify it as dangerous and kill it before it causes a problem with you, which will make you immune.
Yeah, well, he was completely resistant. Like he wasn't even like a carrier. It was just like it didn't affect them at all. And they were saying like, just because you're not, it doesn't mean your daughter is.
Yeah.
Which is why he worked so hard to keep his daughter in the house.
Well, they didn't say it didn't enter, like he didn't get it from his
No,
wife.
but when we're talking about immunity for stuff like this, they're talking about someone who won't get it, not someone who doesn't show symptoms, but someone who will not get it.
Oh, and also not spread it. I think that's
right.
the thing.
Yes.
Because a carrier is someone that would spread it, but someone who's immune won't spread it because their body would kill it. So it's like there's nothing for it to do. A carrier, just the virus is active in them, but it's not causing their immune response like everybody else that would have the,
Right. So like with COVID, COVID-19, some people can have it and not show any symptoms at all, but they're saying that they can still spread it to other people.
Yeah. So immunity, the virus can enter your body, but it's not going to do anything. It won't be able to copy itself, all that type of stuff. So, and that's the thing. Like, it's kind of like allergies. Like, your allergies are just people's immune system reacting to like pollen and things when it shouldn't be. Like, pollen's not dangerous to you. But your immune system says, this is a foreign object, I'm going to overreact. Some people's immune system does it. Other people's don't. And so that's why there's always going to be someone who's immune. And when you see like all of these movies where it's like some sort of disease, I think I Am Legend, right? There were some people who were just immune to the virus that was going around. Just because there's no real explanation to it. It's like their body's just built to take on that particular virus, so.
And I like the fact of with Matt Damon's character, and this is for all our few fans that are listening, all 30 of you guys, even though he was quarantined, even though he was immune, he still quarantined himself.
Yes.
And he still made sure that, his daughter couldn't get it.
Yeah. Well, because there's other ways you can spread it, right?
Yeah. 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 Touching different surfaces and things like that. And they're saying that that's how the coronavirus now can also be spread.
Yeah.
It can be on the surface and you touch the surface.
Yeah. For a short period of time. I think it's on most surfaces is a few hours. Is that correct?
Yes.
No?
On hard surfaces, it's a couple of days.
On hard surface, so like metal and plastic?
Metal and plastic, yeah.
But porous surfaces like cardboard is?
Hours, yeah.
A few hours, okay. So, yeah. And that's the thing. So he could spread it that way, picking it up from one surface to the other. Also, once immune doesn't mean always immune. So you definitely will.
True. Yeah, because you have to worry about things mutating.
Yeah, right. Which in this movie, MEV1 did mutate, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So I don't think we've seen this happen nowadays with Corona. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
It has mutated.
It has. That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. That sucks.
The only other thing I wanted to mention is that I really like how the movie started and ended. Because the movie started on day 2. And it opens up with like a black screen and someone coughing. And then you're kind of already got into it like, like we're already in the midst of it.
Yeah.
And then it ends on day 1. So the entire movie, you're just getting the aftermath. They're trying to figure out, like, how did it happen? How did it go? And then in the end, it tells you exactly what happened. So I don't know. I thought that was a nice touch. And I wanted to bring that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Not showing you exactly what happened at the start. But because, well, like you mentioned before, the focus of the movie was to show, like, a lesson, basically, for everyone and show what could happen. So it wasn't as important to show how it happened in the beginning, but now putting it at the end is a very nice touch to say, like, okay, This is how it happened. And one giant lesson from this is wash your hands.
Wash your hands. I mean, when I saw that, I was like instantly mad. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you killed the 20% of the world because you didn't wash your hands?
That one guy, actually, he might not even have died if he washed his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, he didn't touch his face or anything yet. It's just on his hands. All he had to do was wash his hands, be clear of it, and...
He still passed it on, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pass it to Goopy over there. And... Gwyneth Paltrow, for those of you who don't know. Pass it to her, and she helped spread it. So, because the one person didn't wash their hands... killed 20% of the world. Well, not 20% of the world's population, right? No.
Oh, not 20%.
26 million. Yeah, 29 million.
It had a 20% mortality rate, but, you know.
Everybody doesn't get it. And, yeah. So, that's horrible. So, think about that next time you decide not to wash your hands. Maybe you're going to kill 26 million people.
It's true.
So did you have any interesting facts or?
Oh, there really wasn't a lot of interesting facts besides that. Yes, it is very accurate. That was like basically all the facts.
The most interesting fact, it's accurate.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, the movie definitely makes you uneasy at points, especially when you think of the realism of it. But I guess it's about the time for us to give it a rating.
Yes. Do we know our list? My list is on the other side of the room.
Yeah, I think it's greatest movie ever. I'll pay for that. You can watch while folding clothes. Torture is pure torture.
Pure torture.
And then kill me now. Yeah, okay. So those are our 5 ratings. Right. What do you think, Daisy?
I would say I would definitely pay for it.
Okay.
Your name is not Daisy.
I know.
He said, what do you think, Daisy? And then you answered. Gosh, pay attention. We got to do this for the next 3 weeks.
Or more.
Or more.
Longer. I will agree with Derek is I will pay for that.
I pay for that. Okay. I was going to say, yeah, I pay for that. Like, it's not a movie that I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to the theater again to see it or I buy it on DVD, but it's definitely better than like being distracted while doing something around your house. Like, I'm definitely engaged in this movie while watching it. So it definitely deserves a higher
grade. That's the odd thing about this movie is that I won't really call it like a rewatchable movie because I've seen it and I never want to see it again. But it is a good movie.
Yeah, maybe we'll watch it.
It's just one of those things you don't watch more than once.
Yeah, maybe we'll just watch it during the next pandemic, you know?
Oh, that happened every 100 years. We'll be dead.
Oh, man.
We will be.
Hopefully, anyways. It don't happen more than 100 years.
Well, if people start washing their hands, maybe it'll take that long. Right. All right, so that's what 3D Rivals thinks about this movie. It is good enough to pay for it. Which actually we did. We paid to watch this. So
we did. Because no one is streaming it.
Yeah, it's a truth. I'm surprised they need to put it on streaming since everybody wants to watch it. Cool. So with that being said, I think there's a few bits of news before we end out the podcast. So I'm going to start with the kind of the smallest. Rosario Dawson is joining the cast of The Mandalorian for season 2. So that's interesting. She's a good actress. To see what
she's playing now. Did you watch the animated series?
No. Which one?
Really? I don't know. Clone Wars.
When Disney Plus came out, I started watching it, but like I'm not.
Okay, so she's playing a character that first appeared there. The person's name is, I'm going to mispronounce this, Ahsoka Tano? Whoever.
Ahsoka Tano?
Is that what it is? I don't know these things.
Okay, yeah,
anyways,
she's a Jedi.
So Rosario Dawson will be playing.
Okay, that's
The
interesting.
Yeah.
That means she was still alive.
Yeah, so it'll be the first live action. Did she die in the cartoon? I think so. You didn't watch the cartoon.
Watched like 10 episodes of the first season. I was just saying, this Mandalorian takes place after the last original Star Wars movie, right? So it was during those movies. It was like Luke was the only Jedi. So for her to still be alive, it's kind of weird. Like, oh, I thought Luke.
When did the cartoon take place?
After the prequels.
Which is before the old ones?
Before the originals.
Hey, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know.
A little confusing, I know. Whatever. I was just saying I thought Luke was the only Jedi at that time, but apparently not.
No, how could he be the only Jedi? Oh, you said after those movies. Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
Mandalorian is after those movies.
It's the only one left.
Yeah. Where it seemed like he was,
Got
but
it.
I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it. So we'll see. Okay, interesting. Mandalorian was very good, so I definitely want to check it out.
All right, are we ready for the next ones?
Yeah. What do you got?
All right, let's start with Universal is making their movies that's currently in theaters available for on demand. That started this Friday, March the 20th. That includes The Invisible Man, The Hunt, and Emma. Never heard of the last two movies. They are available to rent for $19.99.
Interesting.
And I feel like that's kind of high, but maybe it's not high. I think the average movie ticket in the U.S. is $18 or something.
Is it?
Poor state, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, because I'm like,
But if you think about it, if we're being quarantined and you have the average family size of 3 people, that's actually cheaper than you going to the movie theater.
True.
And that's not even counting buying snacks.
And
hold on.
that will help Universal make up for the cost of losing the money from the movies not being in theaters.
I was mistaken. $18 is the most expensive.
Okay.
The average is like 9 something.
Okay.
That sounds better. Yeah. And so they also saying that the movie Trolls, when that hits North American release on the 10th of April, that will also be available for on demand.
Interesting.
On that same day.
Can they do that for Black Widow?
Disney want their $1 billion. I'm gonna say no.
It's not going to work in theaters. I mean, unless they push it back. They're going to have to push it back because if it comes out.
That's my next bit of news. Let me get there.
Okay.
Also, Disney did release Onward, which I didn't see in the news, but when I turned on Amazon, Onward was available. Now, Disney's on demand is available to buy.
Oh.
So.
That makes sense.
It's still $19.99, but if you buy it, it's yours. Because Universal, you rent it for the standard 48 hours and it disappears. But Onward is. You will own it if you pay that $19.99.
Do they run a higher risk of piracy?
I don't know. It's probably about the same, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you just go.
A pirate when they can't get it.
Yeah, that is true. People pirate when they can't get it. Generally, if you can pay for it, people will buy it. For the most part, you do have people that'll just pirate things, but majority of the population will just pay for it. So, all right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys want to go halfsies if they release a movie? Because I live by myself. $19.99 is expensive.
Well, 3D Rivals will purchase the movie. So that's fine.
Okay. And so then that does bring us to Black Widow. It has been pushed back from its May 1st release date. A new date has not been set.
Okay, so it's indefinitely pushed back. They're probably just going to wait and see when people can go out again.
Right, and see, the thing is they don't want to interfere with their other movie slots in probably at the end of the year or 2021. So you can't just pick a date out of thin air.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting. We were expecting for a bunch of movies to start coming up, and we had plans for our podcast. So Netflix is going to be what we're watching, I guess.
Basically, you're going to get a lot of retro reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, because you guys are watching a lot of retro movies.
That's true because everybody else is watching Netflix too. So yes, good idea.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
which leads us
And Disney
into
Plus.
our last bit of news. Netflix, now this is in the UK so far. I'm sure it will also happen here. Netflix and Disney Plus are reducing the bandwidth in order to quote unquote not break the internet. Since we're all at home with nothing better to do but watch TV, the system is becoming overloaded. So your shows will probably not be in HD.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's okay. It doesn't kill me to watch something in standard definition. I'm all right.
It doesn't, but you do notice it.
Yes,
You do.
It's true.
Yeah, you do notice.
You know, it's not terrible. I mean, it is. It definitely high definition is better, but you can deal with it. It's not like you're watching it in the old standard definition.
No, but it's weird. Like, you ever, like, oh, y'all guys don't like, so I have an antenna on my TV. And it's like, there's like channels that shows nothing but old sitcoms. And it'd be like Home Improvement. And it just looks so awful. It's like I can't even watch it just to watch it because I'm like, what is this? And why did we think this was okay?
But SD isn't even that though. It's at least 720p, I'm gonna say.
Oh, is that worse than SD? Is that why it's so awful?
720p is technically high definition, but I don't see anyone getting lower than 720p.
Okay. I don't know.
I had an argument with somebody at work before we went into quarantine, and like somebody was looking for a projector, and he's like, "Oh, you need a 4K projector." Now I'm looking at the person that was looking at him like, "No, you don't." I'm like, I know this person doesn't care about 4K. Like, just get 1080p. And he's like, that's standard definition. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's not.
1080p is high definition.
Yeah, everything doesn't need to be high def. It's just sometimes, I want to get my TV's worth. So if I can get it in 4K, I want it in 4K.
I think people are going a little crazy with the 4K. Not for movies, but for some reason gaming. Like, oh, I need to game in 4K. And it's like, do you? Do you though? No, you don't. Like, they got giant monitors and whatnot. It seems unnecessary. But okay. Netflix, standard definition. Got it. All right. Is that all we got?
That was it. There's not a lot of...
I have
Oh.
a few news.
Derek?
Tell us.
Whatever. I don't know why y'all get so surprised when I mention that I have news.
You never have anything.
Yeah, I'm like, you never have news.
Nah, whatever. All right. I have one sports news and one movie news or show news.
Okay.
For the MCU, they saying that in the Loki series, Roxanne will be, I guess, introduced back into the MCU.
Okay.
Roxanne.
The company, it's been showed a few times.
It's been. I thought that on Cloak and Dagger. I thought that's where her father worked.
Yeah, Roxanne was in Cloak and Dagger. They had a building in Iron Man with Roxanne on it.
Right.
Wasn't that the chemical company that Daredevil got blinded with?
Yes.
I believe it was on something else too.
Yeah, so they're saying that in the Loki series, it will have a more predominant role.
Okay, so now does this company have a major role in the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're usually bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I believe that a few people got their powers somehow from the company as well. Basically doing illegal, polluting and stuff like that. Experiments and things.
Yep.
So that was introduced. And even though in California they have the stay home order, they said that the stadium for the Los Angeles Rams that would be shared with the Los Angeles Chargers, they will still be constructing the building as scheduled so it can be open when the season starts. I'm like, I don't think it's that important. But of course, money rules everything.
I believe all construction is still going on.
Yes.
So far, at
I
least.
mean, you're not that close to each other, are you?
Well,
You can get
Daisy,
close.
I guess you would have the answer.
Aren't you usually wearing protective equipment anyway? Just put some goggles and a face mask on.
You're wearing a hard hat and a safety vest. You're not wearing suits to construct stuff. Half the time, they don't even wear that.
They wear Wranglers and Timbs.
Steel toe. I'm hoping everyone's wearing steel toes.
You supposed to wear steel toes.
Sometimes if it's cold, I don't. It be cold.
I don't know, wear some woolly socks.
That don't help.
Yeah.
Steel toe get your feet cold.
That makes sense. All right. Well, that is all we had for the podcast today, guys. So, if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/3drivals. Also, you can email us. That's 3drivals@gmail.com. We are also on Twitter at 3_rivals. So those are the places you can reach us. And as always, we like to thank you for listening to the podcast. We appreciate it, and peace out.